Question 19 is asking us, what is the product of the polynomials blank and blank? You need to know this word product. Product means to what? Multiply. So there's different ways to multiply, and there's different ways to approach this question. What I want you to understand is, again, let's pay attention to these themes. I'm not going to figure out the answer by the front part, not even the second part. They are all exactly the same. What we do see some differences on x to the thirds, x to the seconds, and like all of these are -5. And we see a big hint on the back. Is it positive or is it a negative? The first aspect I'm going to think about is this piece. When you're multiplying, and there's different strategies. So I've written this in the traditional sense. And when you have to expand something like this or multiply, it is important to know that you are distributing. This first piece here has to be multiplied to everything on the inside. Now, that's not over. Once you've done that piece, you then need to take the number +5 and multiply it to every single piece on that side too. And that's what makes this a medium level question. It's not easy, but let's take a look at our themes and let's pay attention to some tricks here. We know at the very end, we're going to take 5 and we're going to times it by -7. And that's not going to change. And you need to know that a positive times a negative is going to make a negative. It's not whether you know it's 35. The back number is 35. We know it. We know this answer has to be -35. So immediately as you're working, I know that A is gone and E is gone. From that point, you can kind of start settling on tricks. There's two 36s here. There's a lot of eights here. If I'm just going purely on guessing, I'm guessing more 36s and there's more eights. I'm guessing. But I want to show you the math. So this tool is good, but it becomes very disorganized. Another tool that we use a lot at Metro is this kind of box mentality. And the box here allows us just to say organize. -3, there's a 1 here. Is a -3, 2x's, and 3x's means I now have 5x's. You might notice that on the front of all of those answers. When we do these other boxes, work is going to come together. What's unique is the first box never changes, and neither does that last box. And that was the strategy I used initially. I know that -7 times 5 is -35. Those parts of the answer, they will not change. They're just part of the answer. Everything else is going to involve a little bit of work. -3 times +3. That's a -9. 2x's and 2x's now means I have 4x's. -3 times a -1. That's a positive. 2x's and 1x means I have 3. Negative times a negative is again a positive. I get 21 plus 3 times 7. And there's no x's here, but those two x's have to come along. That's me taking the -3x to everything. Now, if I take the 5 to everything, 5 times 1, 5. There's an x to the third coming. 5 times 3 is 15. Bring the x to the 2 with. 5 times -1 is -5. And that's going to come there. That's a lot of information, but understand what has to come together. Are there any other x to the fourths? No. So that's -9x to the fourth. That didn't help us. We already knew that. Remember that part in the back? That doesn't help us either. There's no other regular x to the ones. That -5x is there. They're testing us on this middle part. So understand, I need to do what? X to the thirds. I got a 3 and a 5. And when I bring those together, that's going to be a positive 8x to the third. Also, I got to bring my x to the seconds together. I have a 21 and I have a 15. Again, positive. If I bring those together, I'm going to get 36x squared. Remember that guess we took a little while ago? +8, +36, using just logic? It's not going to work on every question, but this one, it happened to work again. So that correct answer was D, just so you know. Keep up the work. There's many ways to solve math questions. Organizing, practicing these skills, Don't think by seeing it once you're going to be great at it. You're going to have to still practice and you're going to make little mistakes along the way, but stay positive. You're making great growth. Keep up the hard work.